Hey everyone, and welcome to the Uncorked Corner podcast, where we cover the full spread of food and beverage industry topics. My name is Bianca, PR and marketing professional by day and food and wine connoisseur by night.
And my name is Nick, an accountant with a passion for barbecue, beer, and whiskey. Today we welcome Jason and Jason from Brewtality Coffee Co to the show.
In this episode, we learn about the origins of Brewtality Coffee Company, the story behind the branding and coffee roasting, as well as hear about some interesting products they have coming down the pipeline.
If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to us. With that said, let's welcome Brewtality Coffee to the show.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Uncorked Corner podcast. Today we welcome Jason and Jason from Brewtality Coffee. We are very excited to have them on the show, and we'll start by having them introduce themselves and give us a little background on how they got involved in the industry.
Oh man, that's a tough question. Well, I'm Jason. Jason.
I'm Jason.
And background is I'm a coffee fanatic. We're both coffee fanatics, but was never really satisfied with the kind of coffee that I had to add a whole bunch of cream and sugar to. So I started roasting coffee on my stove, and here I am a year and a half later.
About a year and a half later.
About a year and a half later, here we are, Brewtality Coffee.
We took about a year to develop. We had another e-commerce company before that called Viking Beard. Shirt right there. And we just wanted to get into that space with our own coffee. Once we started kind of deciding we were going to make our own, then we're like, hey, we could sell this too. This is a great idea. So we decided to go all out for it. And I think it's going to be a really cool, exciting brand. We're excited about it. It's doing really well in the first 2.5 months we've been launched.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So.
That's awesome. And I know Nick, who is the co-host here, he's having some technical difficulties, but he has definitely an eye for kind of upcoming brands and just knowing what stands out to him. And he found you guys, and you're so new, which I think is so incredible. We love supporting, upcoming brands. And I think the names of your coffees they're great. And I mean, I would buy it based on that alone. We've already told a bunch of people about it. And I think that's, a huge selling point. It's just, it doesn't even, the coffee itself is great. We've tried it ourselves, but just the whole branding aspect of it, you guys did a great job and really nailed it, I think.
Well, that's this guy here with the branding.
He's the roaster. I'm the marketer.
Love it.
So while we're on,
we teamed up pretty well on it. So.
Yeah. So while we're on the branding, do you want to tell us where you kind of got the inspiration for that real rock and roll sort of tattoo vibe?
That's just us in a nutshell. I mean, that's kind of, the music we listen to, usually how we dress, how we hang out, how we talk, how we party, how we do business. I mean, you should see us sitting at a board table talking business with other, making deals and stuff. It's a little bit unconventional compared to what you'd probably see on TV or anything like that.
It's a lot unconventional.
Right. A lot of our business happens, at distilleries or restaurants or bars or
concerts,
you name it. So yeah, the branding just kind of,
it's us.
It's us in a nutshell. If you check out our other company too, Viking, it's kind of the same way, so that's
who we are.
Yeah, that's who we are.
We can't sell something or market something that we don't feel passionate about, and we have to be true to ourselves. So that's what we're doing.
Right, definitely.
When did you start drinking coffee?
When I was 2.
The same time we started drinking beer.
I actually, I was born in the 70s, so I was born with asthma. And believe it or not, when I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with asthma, they told my mother, when he's having trouble breathing because he's so young, give him some black coffee. So I was probably even younger than 2. So I've been drinking coffee my entire life. Back then, that was medicine. So
Yeah, and you grew a fondness for it as opposed to some who might have gone averted for that reason. Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously, so you have 3 flavors right now. How did you decide on the names of those 3, and what is the difference between the 3 that our listeners might be interested in?
We kind of just roundtabled it. We brought everybody in from the warehouse, and we said, hey, this is what we have. We did a tasting. We cupped a bunch. I mean, we cupped forever. I mean, we were just developing a lot of our, current stuff and stuff that hasn't even been launched yet for about a year. But yeah, basically we just brought everybody in and we kind of
started bouncing names around, and that's where the names came from. So pretty simple, actually. We just found something we thought was cool sounding and went for it.
I mean, they are. It worked.
Well, there's more cool stuff to come, I promise.
We can't wait. Yeah, we'll be sharing it as you go. You'll see us tagging all the stuff we have now, but when the new stuff comes out.
We've been working on some cold brew stuff. Hopefully we can get that out in cans here within the next year.
We have a white coffee we're working on.
Yep.
And we're working on some more stronger coffees too. I'm a strong believer in that you shouldn't have to put cream and sugar in coffee to drink it. So that's why our blends are the way they are, because you can drink any of them without cream or sugar.
Yeah, they're not bitter.
But I know there are a lot of people out there that like bitter coffee. So we are working on some coffees that have that more mainstream dark roast feel. So we'll be launching some of those here pretty soon too. So.
Yeah, I'm black coffee through and through. I totally agree where you should be able to drink a coffee. It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't pucker my face when I take a sip of coffee.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm the same
now,
way.
Obviously you guys have your roots. Obviously you guys have your roots in rock and roll and music. I see you guys do a lot to sort of give back to that. You partner with SaveTheMusic.org to give back to schools. You want to tell us a little about how that came out?
So basically, we both kind of grew up with instruments in our hands, and we seen what it did for ourselves. Jay's dad here, he's got a bunch of cool guitars.
Oh, yeah.
He's a blues man through and through, right?
Yeah, he's been playing almost 70 years. He's been playing. So.
And then in the past with our other company, we worked with the guy from used to play with Black Label Society. With Nick.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he was doing what was he? He was teaching kids
School of Rock or something.
Yeah, he was working for School of Rock. And we just kind of got the idea from that. Everything we do, we want to give back in a certain way. Our other company would give back to Children's Hospital a lot since its inception. So we decided with this, we wanted to lighten it up a little bit and do the instruments for kids. And, just like the logo and the branding, it's kind of all what we like and what we think about music. Right. And
and nothing has shaped us more than our music and our love of ourselves and expressing ourselves more than the music that we like or like to play or try to play, because I'm no musician, God knows, but so that was kind of the thing. Like when you're growing up and you hit that stage where you can either fall in line or you can be an individual, a lot of that's based around the music. And if you don't have access to play that music or even try to play that music, then you're already kind of fighting a losing battle. So that's why we went that way.
Right. And then you're one of those kids with a phone stuck in your hand versus, a cool guitar. I mean, I'd rather have the guitar myself, but that's just me.
Definitely differentiates you for sure. And you've done so much with your other brand, Mad Viking Beard Company, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm looking at your Instagram right now. It's just so great. You really do have an eye for both of them. It's just like having that branding and like really being true to yourselves. And I think, that's what makes you stand out, right? So what is it that what inspired you to start the other one first? Out of my personal curiosity, because I'm kind of a brand.
That's what happens when you sit around the fire and drink too much and you decide to bet each other who can grow the better beard in 60 days or something, whatever it was. But
yeah, it was 6 months. We all had a big bonfire outside my backyard, and there were 6 of us, and we decided 6 months, we'd all shave the next day. 6 months later, we'll meet up at a local VFW, have a little beard comp amongst ourselves. that actually never happened. It blew up into like a 300 or 400 person beard competition.
Wow.
And we raised that first competition. We raised like $1,500 for Children's Hospital, and that's where that company actually started from.
That's
Just
incredible.
wanting to have fun with your friends and raising some money for charity. So
That's awesome. I sadly parted ways with my beard last Friday. I had it for over a year, and I had to chop it off. I had to chop it off to surprise someone, and we're going right back to it. Though I hate it.
Yeah, Nick's been telling me that since the day he shaved it off, he's going to be growing it back. He knew within an hour. He was like, no, this isn't happening. So tell us more about your Deadly Fresh guarantee. I think obviously it goes in line with everything else you have when it comes to the names and all that stuff. But what can people expect when they order from you? What is that guarantee? And, you know, how do you see people perceiving that?
That's, again, that's, you know, how many times in your life have you ever had an issue with something and you tried to get a hold of someone and tried to handle something and it was this big, long, drawn out, stupid process, right? Nobody likes that. What we guarantee is that we roast per order. We roast pretty much every day. So, you know, we get the orders from the day and then we roast that night and the next day your order goes out, and we do that every day. And we're not going to play that game. Like if you call us or email us or anything and say, hey, my coffee wasn't good, I'm just going to give you your money back or give you another bag of coffee, whichever you want. We're not going to play games. We're not going to screw around because it's just wasting everybody's time. I mean, let's face it, that's what customer service should be, right? Like if you have a problem, we're going to take care of it as best we can. And that's what the Deadly Fresh guarantee is. We're going to roast your coffee every day. So
that's awesome. I mean, it doesn't get fresher than that, right? When someone orders, they get
it'll never be in a store either.
Yeah, and a lot of, you know, it's funny because a lot of times, like when we roast and we seal our bags up over here on the sealer, usually by the time our coffee is so fresh that usually by the time I get it in the box to ship it out, the bag's already starting to degas and puff
And
out.
expand, yeah.
So it's our coffee's that fresh when it leaves.
That's awesome. And you can definitely taste it and the flavor of the coffees themselves. You know, Nick and I have gotten a chance to try it on our own. But out of my own curiosity, the two of you, so I know you're not specific favorites, but of the three blends you have, do you have a favorite?
Well, it depends. Most days I prefer Blood and Bones. It's got a really nice flavor profile where you can taste some like white raisin in there. You know, especially when it gets to the lukewarm stage, you get that really nice white raisin flavor to it. If I'm really tired though, it's Guts and Glory all day long. So
yeah, mine was Guts and Glory until we started messing around with the white coffee. so now I'm kind of hooked on that. I can't wait to release that. It's going to be something special. Not a lot of other companies put that out. So yeah, that's my favorite right now.
It's hard to find a really good light coffee, so I can't wait to try yours because I'm sure it's going to be great.
Well, this is different. It's not light. It's white coffee.
White. Okay.
White coffee. The beans aren't. The beans. Basically, with white coffee, you're pulling the beans before they even hit crack. So you still get a lot of nuttiness and stuff in there, and it's actually a lot more caffeine too. But it's easier on your stomach. So it's going to be. When we get it out, it's going to be pretty cool.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't heard much about stuff like that, so that's going to be really different.
It almost has a peanut butter-esque taste to it.
Yeah, it's really different.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like coffee when you brew it, but it's amazing. So
when you brew it, it's actually white, like
yes.
color-wise?
Yeah, it actually looks like a tea.
Okay.
It actually looks like a tea with milk in it. It's just really strong.
Fascinating. Okay. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Now, obviously, with you guys having your coffee being so fresh, where you're going to source the beans from is really important. Do you have a particular region or a particular area that you like to get your beans from?
Well, for these blends, yeah, but I mean, we continually source and bring beans in from everywhere and from all different importers, you know, because obviously we have to import them through these big importers throughout the country.
Yep.
So we're constantly bringing different lots of beans in. And we have a small test roaster that we'll roast on, and I mean that's a continuous thing for us. So, and then once we find a bean we like, we'll order more and more and more of it, and to make sure that it's not just like a that bag was good.
Yeah,
you know?
it retains that consistency.
Make sure that it's consistent so that we can keep our quality up too. So.
And for brewing the coffee, so I see you guys started canning your own mountain water with the Liquid Death.
Oh,
What inspired you to start doing that?
That's not actually ours. It's kind of just like a partnership with Liquid Death. We sell that on the site. We just started messing around one day, and we had a case of it, so we made some coffee with that water, and we were like, "This is great. We should sell this on the site too. Make your coffee with it, you know." And the branding just kind of matches up. And those guys, I mean, if you ever checked out their Instagram and their customer service replies, I mean,
They're maniacs.
They're maniacs. It's great. I mean, it's funny stuff. It's a unique product, but it's one of the most boring products on earth. I mean, it's water, right? But they make it fun. It's cool. The water tastes pretty good. But yeah, that's why we decided to bring them in house and put them on the site.
Yeah, and the branding is so synergistic with you two. It lines up so well that, you know, obviously I thought it was yours. So it really is working out for you.
Yeah.
Is that your first official partnership?
No, we've done other stuff with our other company and stuff like that. But as far as Brewtality, yeah, that's our first
Brewtality
one.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I imagine there are a lot of really awesome partnerships to come, especially with, you know, your branding, and I can't even think of other brands, but that's really awesome. And I can't wait to see what else you guys do. I wasn't familiar with that before. I know Nick was, but now I'm going to have to check it out. Their social media is hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about your coffee club subscription? And for our listeners who might be interested, what is the benefit to joining that?
The benefit is you don't have to mess around online, and it just kind of comes straight to your door. You get a pretty good, decent discount. And it's just automatic shipments.
You set up the time frame,
Yep.
the frequency. You can prepay for it, and then you're just done. We just ship it. You know, if you pick one bag a week, you get one bag a week. We just ship it out automatically. You don't have to worry about it.
And we got 2 sections set up on the website. So like if like during the holidays, somebody's birthday or somebody, you know, that is really, you know, a coffee fanatic or something like that, you can do a gift subscription as well. You can pay for it up front, or you can pay for it as time goes on. So it's kind of versatile. It's, you know, it's whatever you want to make.
Just doing everything we can to make life easy, and, you know, do your stuff online, buy your stuff, and then go out and have fun, and then we'll take care of the rest. So it's that simple.
That's awesome. And for each of you, when it comes to the coffee, what's your go-to, your favorite brew method, and what do you recommend people do when brewing your coffee at home?
I'm French press guy all day long. I love the simplicity of it. I not to bash any one system or another, but I know Keurigs and the K-Cups are really popular, and that's great, but they're not for me. I don't like the waste of them, and I don't like the fact that they're really hard to clean. A French press is it's coffee and water in a nice glass or stainless container, and it's that simple. That's what I love, and that's what I do here in the shop all the time. So that's where I go to. And I'm sorry, I forget the second part of your question.
For people brewing at home, if they were to brew it, what do you recommend them to do? So I'm assuming French press would be the go-to for that as well.
Yeah, it's literally just going to take, for the French press, you're going to take 4 tablespoons of medium coarse or coarse ground coffee, depending on how strong you like it. Throw it right in the French press, drop some 200-degree water on it, let it sit for about 4 minutes, stir it, press it, drink it. It's that simple. I love it.
That's my favorite as well. But we were kind of nerding out yesterday, the other day when you were.
Yeah, we have the, we've got the siphon brewers and the Turkish siphons and all that stuff that we just like to play with. But I mean, just because they're cool to see, right? You got this coffee bubbling and stuff sucking and levers moving. It's awesome. But
we actually wear lab coats when we brew it that way.
Oh yeah, and we say
Love that.
we say big words that we don't understand too. So.
Yeah, we get our thesaurus, thesaurus. We get that book out. But
I've been using a French press for years, and I'm not going to lie, it's some of the best coffee I've also had, and it's so easy. It's so easy. People don't even realize, like, the simplicity of it.
Quick.
And it changes the mouthfeel of coffee too. It gives you a thicker feel, and it's
Creamy too,
just creamier feeling to the coffee. It's amazing. It's French press all the way.
Nick, we got to turn you on to the French press because I don't think you have one yet.
I don't have one. I'm not opposed. I've been kicking around. We've been talking to a few coffee companies and everything, and some people prefer the pour over, some do the French press. I like my coffee to be more that thick texture and have sort of more of a creaminess to it almost. Just when you make it, I like it to be real rich. So
Yeah, you definitely got the French press then, for sure.
Yeah, we'll get him one. So for you guys, obviously, you know, you have a lot going on between the two brands, but what are some of the things that you really try to like, what are some of the primary personalities that you try to emanate into that brand and like that you kind of carry with yourselves every day?
Oh, that's a tough question. You want to go first?
What kind of personality do we put into it, or into the brand, or into the coffee itself?
I mean, I'm thinking that you kind of like are yourselves with the brand and everything, so it should be somewhat around the same, right?
Yeah. I mean, with everything, like everything like quality wise that we kick out, or taste wise, like if it doesn't pass our our taste buds or the way we think things should look or feel, it just never gets out and through the wild. So it is all us.
Right.
We don't have anybody creating stuff for us that doesn't get by us, and there's no customer service
Team, it's us.
team. It's all us.
Right, and it's
I mean,
like the design work, the creative on the website, the pictures on the website, the look of the bags, the feel of the bags, the coffee itself. It's 100% us. So that we're completely transparent with it. There's no
corporation. There's
nobody has
stuff like
input but us. So love it or leave it. That's what you get.
Right.
That's the best, right?
Right.
So what are you looking forward to most with the company? And is there anything, I know you're working on some stuff now, but is there anything that we should be excited for in the future, or anything that, might not be in the near future, but that you're really looking forward to pushing out kind of further along?
I would say cold brew and some flavored coffee for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple cool single origins. The white coffee we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have, a pile of some awesomeness coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the cold brew. That's going to take a minute, but it's going to be. I love cold brew coffee too. So
Yep.
When we get that done, that's going to be pretty cool. And then we've got this. We're working on a nice Colombian. I want to do a nice Colombian dark roast. Pretty dark, but still walk that smooth line, which I'm pretty stoked about. So I don't know. There's a lot we're excited about.
I love the Colombian coffees. That tends to be the origin that I go to because they do have that real smooth, like rich, almost like chocolatey, nutty taste to them. They're delicious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the brew method that I have been doing a lot lately is making my own cold brew with the beans, just grind them up. And I have a big 64-ounce mason jar that I steep them in overnight for 12 to 16 hours, and it comes out delicious. You can't.
Yeah, I love that too. I'm with you, man. I drink a lot of single origin too. I know we have the great blends, but I do drink a lot of, because I'm kind of spoiled. I kind of have to. So
We just wrote that blog article the other day about the cold brew and using Guts and Glory. We've been getting a lot of feedback from different customers saying that they prefer the Guts and Glory and the cold brew. So
yeah,
we decided to write an article behind it.
So for our listeners who are curious about reading that, where can they find your blog?
Just hit the website and scroll down to the bottom, and the blog link's right down there in the footer of the page. And they can get it right from there. It'll be one of the first articles that pops up.
And the website's brutality.coffee. It's not .com, so we even did that.
That's perfect. And what is your social media for anybody who wants to follow you? I know you have some great content on there.
It's just at Brewtality Coffee Co. That'd be our Instagram. Facebook
Perfect.
would be the same.
Right. And it's Brewtality, BREWTALITY. So
Is there
Well,
anything else you? Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I was just kidding. We'll link to everything in the description so it's easy for people to find.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share before we close off the podcast? I know we have kind of a few minutes, so we'll leave open space. So if there's anything that you wanna talk about, let us know.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
For bringing us on. Like I said, we're a new company. We've been developing this for a long time, but it's great for you guys to give us an opportunity to come on and talk and again share a glimpse of who we are as individuals, so everybody can see that the brand is us and we are the brand. Don't forget about our Deadly Fresh guarantee. I'm not going to say what I usually call it because I don't want to curse on your show, but we usually just call it the no BS guarantee. Let's put it that way. So we will always honor that. And if you have any issues or any even recommendations of people, if someone has a recommendation, we're open to try anything. And if we can make it good and make it quality, we'll bring it to the masses. Other than that, no, thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I think any consumer who's had to deal with customer service can appreciate that aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure.
We actually still have to answer our own phones.
Love that. Hopefully, eventually, you'll grow out of that. Somebody's job.
I mean, if you want to test it, get on the site right now and call. And there's this phone right behind me.
Don't tempt us.
Let's do it. Let's end it like that.
Nick's got his
I'm on
phone
it.
up.
Okay.
It's not a night mode, is it?
Oh. It is 6:30 here. You're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, it might be on night mode.
That might be. Let's see what happens. Wait, Nick.
Nick's a little slow.
We're getting there. Brewtality.coffee.
This is suspenseful.
Yeah, I wish we had some music, like some real.
They can add the music in post.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need some of that like suspenseful, like gloom-laden music. That's just like.
Friday the 13th music.
Oh yeah. It honestly might be Nick's service. So.
Yeah, it could be. Nick's being robotic.
Car.
He's got a hamster in the back of that door.
Just like you. Bianca, if you could beat.
Nick, you're totally frozen.
I know. I'm getting the answering machine when I'm trying to call through.
Oh, okay. You guys must be off the line.
Yeah.
We'll take your word for it.
No, it definitely rings right there.
And we'll call you tomorrow, and then we'll sub it in.
Sounds good.
Totally. We'll answer it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. You'll see us tagging you all over social media because we love what you're all about.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming on the show. We are so excited to keep drinking your coffee. We love coffee ourselves, so clearly.
Yeah, and if you guys could email me the link to this so we can share it on all of our other platforms, we could push a lot of traffic your way too. So.
Absolutely.
Well, for sure. Thank
All
you.
right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Be sure to follow us on social at Uncorked Corner and on the blog at uncorkedcorner.com for a taste of more food and beverage content.
And if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe, rate, and review on whatever podcast platform you prefer. Thanks for listening.